Hello guys, welcome to SBM Science. Myself Bikas Mohan Damai. In this video, we are going to discuss about HIV, human immunodeficiency virus, which cause a very dreadful, dangerous full disease, AIDS, acquired immune deficiency syndrome. It is widely believed that HIV originated in Kinshasa in the Democratic Republic of Congo around 1920 when HIV crossed species from chimpanzee to humans. Up till the 1980s, we do not know how many people were infected with HIV or developed AIDS. There were estimated that around 37.7 million people living with HIV at the end of 2020. Now, talking about the structure of HIV, this is phospholipid bilayer. These are glycoprotein present above this phospholipid bilayer. This round type is GP120. GP stands for glycoprotein. Then this stick shaped is GP41. These three phospholipid bilayer GP41, GP120 form together envelope of this virus. Diameter of this structure is around 90 to 120 nanometer. This is matrix. Matrix is P17. The capsid is present inside the matrix, so this one is going to be the capsid. The capsid is P24. Now, whatever the virus has its genome, its enzyme, everything will be present inside this capsid. There are two separate single-stranded RNA are present, and these are genome of HIV. Apart from genome, there are certain enzymes. Total 3 type of enzyme are present into this capsid. So the first enzyme, which is very important, called reverse transcriptase. In addition, there are two other enzymes called integrase and protease. So this is the structure of HIV virus. Now we are going to see the function of each enzyme. HIV is retrovirus. Unlike other virus, retrovirus store their genetic information using RNA instead of DNA, means they need to make DNA when they enter a human cell in order to make new copies of themselves. As we know, transcription is conversion of DNA to RNA. Now reverse transcriptase going to conversion of RNA to DNA. Now the next enzyme is integrase. Integrase means integrating, adding. When the virus affects the host cell, its main aim is to integrate its genome with the host cell genome. So the integration, the binding, the joining of viral genome with the human genome is done by this integrase enzyme. Now the third one is protease. When the whole material of the virus is formed into the human cell like protein, genome, at the end protease is responsible for packing them. Now we will see how HIV virus infect our body. When HIV virus goes inside the human body, it will interact with those cells to which the GP120 can connect. Now, where is the receptor for GP120 are present? The receptor for GP120 present on T helper cell, macrophage, and these are also present on dendritic cell. The name of this receptor is CD4 receptor. Now, for example, this cell is macrophage, this is the DNA of macrophage, and this outside the cell is virus. Now, as you know, virus use a special surface glycoprotein to connect to the CD4 receptor, and once bound protein through conformational change and alteration in the plasma membrane will facilitate the sort of receptor mediated endocytosis that pulls the virus inside the host cell. Once inside, we have encoding, so all of this protein will be removed and the genetic material, that is RNA, released into the host cell cytoplasm. It is the RNA of this virus that can become converted into viral DNA by utilizing the reverse transcriptase enzyme which is present in this virus. Then this DNA made its complementary strand, and now it become double-stranded DNA from single-strand DNA. Now this double-stranded DNA integrate to the DNA of macrophage with the help of enzyme integrase, which is also already present on this virus. Now when this macrophage DNA be transcribed, along with this viral DNA will also be transcribed. Means that after being integrated, viral protein will start forming into the cell. Now we already have genome, so that multiple progeny of HIV virus are formed, and this progeny virus could be released outside the cell and infect next nearby cell. Macrophage help the HIV virus to make multiple progeny from single virus particle, so that the infected macrophage, also called HIV producing factory. After that, this progeny mature and target T helper cell of the body and destroy them. Hence, the number of helper T lymphocyte decrease in the body. the person become susceptible to infection of bacteria, especially mycobacterium, virus, fungi, and even parasite like toxoplasma. The patient get immune deficiency and he or she unable to protect himself and herself against this virus. There are three stages of HIV infection. The acute stage generally develops within a couple of weeks after a person is infected with HIV. During this time, patient may experience flu-like symptoms. HIV multiply rapidly, resulting in high viral load in the blood and increased risk of transmission. The chronic stage, also called clinical latency, is usually asymptomatic. HIV continue to multiply but at much slower speed. Patient may not have any symptoms but they can still spread HIV to others. Without treatment, the disease usually progresses to AIDS. Within 2 to 10 years, AIDS is the final stage of HIV infection. As the immune system is failing, the body can't fight off common disease and opportunistic infection can take hold. AIDS is diagnosed when the number of CD4 T helper cell less than 200 cell per cubic millimeter of the blood, or if certain opportunistic infection are present. Why it is hard to cure HIV? It is hard to cure HIV or AIDS because HIV has the ability to mutate extremely quickly, hence the drugs which is somewhat effective on a patient suffering from HIV or AIDS might not work on another patient because of the mutated HIV. With antiretroviral therapy can slow down progression to AIDS and reduce transmission. Antiretroviral drugs are classified based on their ability to interfere with certain stage of HIV life cycle. Accordingly, there are entry and fusion inhibitor, reverse transcriptase inhibitor, and protease inhibitor. When HIV infects a cell and insert its genetic information into the DNA of that cell, it then has two choices. The first choice is to start making more virus right away, and this is what happens most of the time. The second choice is a little more sneaky, and surprisingly, that choice is to do nothing. The inhibitor can recognize and shut down a cell that's making HIV, but they can't recognize or know what to do with a cell that's not making HIV. The cell that's not making any HIV right now is called latent, where the cell making HIV is called active. Although latent cells are not making any HIV right now, at any point they can become active and start making lots more HIV, and if patient do not have the inhibitor around when that happens, the patient can get sick all over again. So as soon as scientists can find a way to recognize latent cell and shut them down before they ever become active, that's when we will have a cure for HIV. There are two HIV strains. While we only know HIV, there are two predominant strains of it found throughout the world. HIV-1 is more popular kind that is likely to develop into AIDS. HIV-2 is mostly found in West Africa and is less likely to lead to AIDS. HIV is transmitted through infected body fluid, most commonly by sexual contact, share contaminated needles, and mother to child during childbirth through breastfeeding. It is not transmitted through air or casual contact. Now, very important question, can mosquitoes or other blood-sucking insect spread HIV or not? The answer is no. Mosquitoes can carry disease such as malaria, Zika fever. In fact, mosquitoes are one of the deadliest animals on the planet. Some people think mosquitoes can also transmit HIV. However, this is not true. Even if a mosquito bites a person with HIV, then bites someone else, they cannot transmit to the second person. This is because of mosquito biology and the biology of HIV itself. Mosquito cannot transmit HIV for some reason, and the reason are like HIV cannot survive for long time outside the host cell. It will be active only when it is inside the host cell. According to the scientists who study on biting behavior of mosquito, after sucking the blood from the person, mosquito never immediately bite another person. After sucking the blood, mosquito they sit, they relax, and they digest their meal, so that virus get digested in alimentary canal of the mosquito. Now, when this mosquito went to bite another person, then this mosquito do not inject the blood they already suck from an infected person. They inject their saliva because the saliva contain an anticoagulant called anaphyllin. This stops the person blood from clotting. This means only saliva, not blood, goes into the person's body when mosquito bite. HIV cannot transmit it through saliva, so it can't be transmitted through a mosquito bite. Suppose a little bit blood remains in the mouth of a mosquito when it bites the infected person. As you know, mosquito never immediately bite another person after sucking the blood, so that the blood on the mouth of a mosquito will clot. Due to this, HIV also cannot be transmitted like this. That was all on some important information you need to know about HIV and AIDS. Thanks for watching this video and giving your valuable time. For more such video, subscribe our channel and don't forget to like and share this video.